The point I'm trying to get at is that for gambling addicts, when they look at all this money that they've spent and all this destruction that they've done, many times they'll just simply say, you know what, I'm going to have my winning moment. I'm going to have that last win. I'm just going to take a gun or walk in front of a train or whatever it is. And if they don't actually go through with it, they think about going through with it. Now, the fact that you all run the suicide crisis prevention line here out of the same office, that was another reason that the Alabama Council chose 211 for our call center referral program, because of the fact that you will get callers that tell you, hey, I'm just calling because I saw the number to reach out for help, and you know, I've gambled away $200,000, and there's no way I'm going to get that money back, and I'm not going to let those people come after me. I'm just going to end it right here, and then you watch them collect. You know. Of course, the sad thing is they're not thinking about the people that love them that are going to miss them once they do that. All right. But when we talk about winning and losing, and that's a powerful concept with problem gamblers, okay? We talk about winning and losing, okay? Suicide always appears to be the big win, the big escape, the big cure-all for all the problems, okay? So I just want to let you know that within this small group, okay, within this small group, you're going to have those people, and you'll be amazed when you talk to these people on the phone. Maybe you already have, of how just shamed and depressed and just, you know, it's like the end of the world is coming, and they don't know what to do. And that's a difficult thing. Your main job, obviously, is to take the information and make the referral, okay? But anything you can make with that referral, depending on how you make it, you know, to let that therapist know that, hey, this person was, you know, was suicidal. You need to check into this, okay? Unless, of course, it's so critical that you all know that you need to take it to the next level and follow the procedures here at your 211 office or whatever 211 office is looking at that, okay? So you might ask the question, how many problem gamblers are there here in Alabama, especially since it's not legalized here in the state, okay? But there's a huge problem with problem gamblers here. And the fact that it's a hidden addiction, okay? We could all be sitting here right now as we are. You know, I'm looking across the room, you're looking at me, okay? Nobody would know if, let's say, Jessica was, you know, up in Tennessee yesterday and bought 500 scratch-off tickets, okay? Or you wouldn't know if last night I was in Tunica, Mississippi gambling, okay? Because there are no visible signs, all right? Prevalency rates, we know that 1% of the general population has a gambling problem of some kind. So you take the population of just the counties that you cover from 8 to 4 every day, and that tells you how many problem gamblers are out there. Now, most people can gamble responsibly, okay? They're able to set financial limits. They're able to set times, the time that they're going to gamble, okay? But for those that are problem gamblers, we know that it's usually 2 to 5% of those that gamble. And those 2 to 5% cost the state of Alabama anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 per year per person. So what that means for all of you, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that when you're able to get someone into recovery, when they call you and you're able to refer someone, and you're able to get them into recovery, that basically means that you're going to be saving the state of Alabama anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. Okay, and you ask the question, how's that possible? You know, well, once they gamble, you got to remember, a problem gambler, they'll gamble until every last penny is gone. Okay. Again, if I was an alcoholic, you wouldn't expect me to take a sip of this vodka and then just say, well, I'm going to leave the rest of the bottle there for somebody else. No, I'm going to drink the whole thing. Okay. Well, you know, whenever I had money, I gambled. And sometimes it might only be 20 or 30 bucks. I was that desperate to go and gamble. Okay. Thinking that, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to I'll go to wherever and I'll flip this money and turn it around. So when they've run out of all the resources and then their family needs to be taken care of or they need to be taken care of, okay, then that's where that $2,000 to $3,000 per person per year number comes into effect. 85% of everybody in Alabama has gambled during the past year. Okay? So what is gambling? Well, gambling is any activity that is done for either chance or skill, no matter how slight or insignificant, where the outcome is uncertain, whether for money or not. So if the three of you play a game of gin rummy after I leave, that's gambling. Okay? Now you all, well, that's not gambling. Hey, if you bought a ticket at the church cakewalk and you landed on the lucky number, you notice that word lucky, and you got the cake, you know, you got the cupcake to take home, you know, then that's gambling. If when you went to your Kiwanis Club meeting this week and you put $5 into the 50-50 drawing and you didn't win, but you put $5 in, you gambled. Okay? Let's talk about sports betting for just a moment. And this number will really surprise you. There is more sports betting per capita in the state of Alabama than in any other state in the U.S. And how about a nice War Eagle for that one? Oh, I'm sorry if I've offended someone there, but I did graduate from Auburn University, so of Montgomery.
All right, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
I'm glad you can come out today.
But you'd all agree there's more sports betting per capita. I give Jessica a roll tide as well. Okay. But there's more sports betting per capita, and it's interesting the perception people have about gambling. They might say to you, "Oh, that gambling in Tunica, Mississippi, that's just evil. That's just evil. We don't want to go there." Oh, by the way, did I call my bookie and put that bet on the Iron Bowl game? You know, see? Or the pastor might say, "Oh, what a terrible thing gambling is." But when he's on the 8th hole with the deacons, and he says, "Oh, I can get this in one. I know I can. Brother Charles, would you like to put a little bet on this hole? How about $50? You know." Say, the preacher's pretty confident this week. All right. So it takes place in so many places that we don't realize it. Okay. We have 3 Indian casinos here in Alabama. And again, as I said earlier, slot machines are known as the crack cocaine of gambling addiction because they are highly addictive. Okay. I know that a lot of you haven't been carrying stats, but a lot of the calls that you might be getting might be from older adults because that's the group that primarily is going to the casinos, we're finding. At least that's what the data is showing. That the calls in the past, you know, it's been about, you know, the highest number has been senior citizens. We're also finding that 66% or more of the calls are females versus males. Okay? Now, again, most male gamblers are competitive gamblers. They do it for the action. They want to be the big winner. And for the male gamblers, most of them, it's winning at all costs. Okay? So they are the ones that started young in life, betting on sports, playing card games behind the backstop at school, getting involved in the football pools, okay, tossing quarters in the hallway, rolling dice, for them, it's I'm the big cheese, I'm the winner, okay, and they love the fact that when they win, they get a chance to win at everybody else's expense. Think of the guy at the poker game, okay, and how he feels when he says, "Hey guys, look, I won this hand. Look at that, I got a royal flush," and he goes and he takes all that pot and he says, "This is my money now," okay. Most female gamblers, they start late in life, okay. They're the great escape artists, okay. And again, why is this important? Well, it just gives you a little bit to understand what may or may not be the psyche of the problem gamblers when they call, all right. But you think about older women, and there's a lot of issues that they face. The empty nest syndrome, the loss of a spouse by whatever means, divorce, death, and all of a sudden they wake up one day and they've retired from their job and they were the manager at the bank and now they don't have anybody to take care of. So they go to the casino and they play the slot machines. And for most of them it's not a problem, okay? But for many of them it becomes a problem, okay? So any activity which involves chance or skill is considered gambling, okay? People that are responsible gamblers, they'll go to McDonald's and they'll buy one order of large fries and then they'll play the Monopoly game, okay? But if you're a problem gambler, you'll probably buy 10 orders of fries, thinking that you're going to get that one key piece for the puzzle that says, hey, I got Park Place, now I'm a winner. See? So it all depends on where the psyche is for the gambler. Now, people will ask me all the time, well, how can you tell if somebody, and let me back up for a minute, okay, to say that, so even though gambling is not legal overall in the state, okay, even though we don't have a state lottery, or even though we haven't signed a compact with the Poarch Creek Indians, gambling is all over Alabama. If you have a high-speed internet connection, you can get on over 2,500 internet gambling sites, okay? Georgia, right next door, has online Keno, okay, which is a gambling game that you can play on your computer, all right? So you can hook up with the Georgia Lottery and you can play Keno right there on your computer, okay? So think about the luxury of this. You can now lose your house without ever having to leave your house. Yeah, Mom gets up, she puts the 4-year-old in front of the TV and puts Barney on, and then she gets her laptop out and she's playing online solitaire, online blackjack, online slot machines. Do a Google search when you have a chance for online slot machines. And you can pull up some of these things. Now, you can do them for free, okay? And if you don't have a gambling problem, then it shouldn't be a problem. You can get it on, and you can, pull it up, get on that site, see what it looks like, okay? But there's also people on these sites every day that they're trying to win money playing a computer, okay? All right. So, how can you tell if somebody has a gambling problem? And then I'll take a few questions. We have a simple 2-question test. It's called the bet-lie question. Have you ever bet more money than you couldn't afford to lose? That's the first part of it, okay? My father, God rest his soul, told me, son, if you gamble away $1 that you can't afford to lose, you might have a gambling problem. And I wished I'd have listened to him, okay? So the first part is, have you ever bet money that you couldn't afford to lose? Okay, y'all with me on that? If you are, say, uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right, very good. Now the second part of that question is the lie part, Well, have you ever had to lie to anybody about your gambling activity? You know. And I guess that could include the person you look at every morning in the mirror, because I lied to that person a whole lot. Okay? And if you get a yes on either one of those questions, chances are you have a problem. Okay? And I give that tool to all of you, not because we want you to do the bet like question with everybody that calls, but we just want you to be aware of what it is and how it can be used in case you've got somebody that calls and says, oh, I'm not really sure if I've got a problem or not. Okay? And you tell them, well, I'm not a therapist. You know, I can refer you to a counselor. I can possibly get you to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting. You know, but have you bet more money than you could afford to lose? Yes. Have you ever lied? Yes. Chances are you might want to take some of these resources down and give these people a call. Okay? All right. So again, your job is invaluable with the 211 program, all right? And the national hotline number, and just being able to take the information and refer people, and know that when these people contact you, they are normally at the bottom of the barrel. And I give you this analogy of a person who had dug himself into a 50-foot hole. And that's what we do as problem gamblers. We're chasing those losses, okay? And that's the desperation phase. We're chasing the money we've lost. We've dug ourselves such a huge hole, okay? And the first person walks by and he says, hey, can you help me get out of this hole? And he says, nope, sorry, can't help you. And the second person walks by and he yells up and he says, hey, can you help me get out of this hole? And the person says, hey, I wouldn't even know where to begin. And he walks away, okay? The third person walks by who's a gambling addict in recovery, and he jumps in the hole with the person. And the guy looks at him and says, what, are you crazy? I dug myself into this hole, and now you've jumped in here with me? And the recovering addict says, no, you don't understand. I've been in this hole before, and I'll be able to show you how to get out. Okay? You all become the conduit, and you all become the conduit to help people know where to turn for people that have been in that hole. Okay? The therapists that we've trained, the people that attend Gamblers Anonymous, Celebrate Recovery. All right? And by the way, when I talked about mental health, 30% of all alcoholics, 30% of all alcoholics are also problem gamblers. 50% of all problem gamblers are also alcoholics. So that's why I say many times, if all else fails, send them to mental health, because problem gamblers are the most dual addicted group of people on the face of the planet. Now I'll entertain any questions you have. And not everybody at once, please.
Maybe they don't want to ask questions on camera.
They don't have to ask it on camera.
So should I shut it off?
No, they're off camera.
I just had a question.
Yes, Adam.
Is fantasy football and
Absolutely.
are those a form of gambling?
Absolutely, yeah. Because you have to spend money to get involved with it. And let me tell you something. Fantasy football is spending billions of dollars to go after young people and to go after female sports enthusiasts.
Really?
We're seeing an upturn in, I didn't even get into college gambling, okay?
Wow.
College gambling, we're seeing a tsunami effect, okay? A wave that's heading this way, because now college kids, they can bet in their dorm room on the internet. They've got their own sports bookies. They're betting on football games. They can tell you more stats about the games and what's going on. And now we're seeing more and more females get involved with this fantasy football. So it's out there. Don't think for a minute that there's not a problem with problem gambling here in the state of Alabama. It is huge. It is epidemic. And we need to to make sure that if the legislature should adopt something, that there are provisions, and this is true of every state where gambling is legalized, there are provisions in the legislation to say that so much money will be set aside for treatment. Okay? And right now, we're just a grassroots effort. You know, we depend upon money that we receive from private individuals and businesses. Okay? And I will share this with you, that if it were not for the Porch Band of Creek Indians, the Alabama Council on Compulsive Gambling wouldn't even exist. Okay? And there's no law that says they have to give us any funds to help us keep our doors open. Okay? They're doing that out of the social responsibility that they see, that they know that for some people this can become an addiction, therefore it's on us to train people to help them. Another question. We've got about 5 or 6 more minutes. Anybody have a... Yes, Jessica.
Say someone called the hotline and they were like an alcoholic saying, you know, I'm having a craving, I want to have a drink.
Right.
You know, if someone were say, you know, I just got my paycheck, I want to go.
Right.
I want to go to the casino.
Mm-hmm.
But they call us instead.
Mm-hmm.
If you took that call,
mm-hmm.
how would you respond?
What I would do is I would respond to them by talking to them for a little while about, okay, well now let's talk about this. Let's talk about this for just a moment. How have you gambled in the past? What's happened in the past when you've gone with your paycheck? What's the outcome usually been? Okay, you're focused on that big win, but the reality is what? What are the things that have happened to you in the past? Tell me everything that's happened to you since you've started gambling. If you take that paycheck home and you use it to pay bills, what's going to happen? If you take that paycheck and you go to the casino, oh, but I gotta take that risk. Okay, well, how important is that risk to you? Because what are the, quote, odds that you're going to walk away from there, you know, with some winnings? All right. And the problem we have with problem gamblers, Jessica, is that there's usually a big win early on in their gambling careers. If my wife and I had left Laughlin, Nevada, and we had lost everything we went there with, we'd have said, well, there's that. We're never going back there again. Okay? But we didn't. We won more money than what we started with. The amount is really not that significant. It's just the fact that it was for us, that was a big win. Okay? And the reality that we have to try to get across to our clients is the fact that they're not going to win every time they go and gamble. The odds are eventually going to catch up with you. But that's one of the things that we would say to them is, well, where has the gambling gotten you in the past? Okay. Well, I don't have enough money to pay all my bills. Have you gotten someone that's going to sit down and help you work out a budget? Oh, but you don't understand. I owe money to 2 payday loans and 1 title company. What should I do? You know, well, then in that case, let me give you the name and phone number of some financial people that might be able to help you. And if you can get them to attend a group meeting or to talk to a therapist, and whenever you get yourself into a corner, and again, I'm talking to every one of the 211 chapters, if you ever get into a corner and you don't know what to do, then give them my name and phone number. And if they'll give you permission, send me an email with their name and phone number, and I will personally call them. Sometimes it may take me a day to get back to them because I'm only a one-man band, okay? But we do want to talk to them, and we do want to try to help them. And that's a difficult concept, okay? Because it's like tunnel vision. All they see is that, well, man, if I just flip this $500 to $1,000, and And there's people that are taking their monthly SSI money every single month, and all they're seeing is that money could get flipped, okay? And it doesn't always work that way. For those people driving to Georgia to buy the Powerball tickets, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning in a thunderstorm than you do winning the Powerball, okay? That's just the way it is. Any other questions? All right, well, you know, you've got my phone number. You can always call me. And on behalf of the Huntsville 211 and the Alabama Council on Compulsive Gambling, thank you for being with us today. And thank you again for the wonderful job you do here in the state of Alabama. God bless you.